You know him as RM of BTS. He's the leader of a global phenomenon, a speaker at the UN, and yeah, a seriously influential art collector who's making waves in the art world. The guy is a true cultural force. Okay, so let's get into this.
But how does someone become RM, you know? Is there some kind of blueprint, a secret code that helps us understand his incredible drive and his really complex personality? Well, that's the mystery we're going to try and solve together today, and we're going to do it by looking at 3 key clues from his life.
So our first clue takes us deep into this ancient Korean practice called Saju, which is all about understanding your innate character.
Now think of Saju less like a crystal ball predicting the future and more like a map of your temperament. It's the unique set of tools and tendencies you're born with, and it reveals your core personality and where your potential might lie. So according to Saju analysis, RM's core identity is what's called sin-gyeom, and that translates to a finely crafted polished jewel. Honestly, this one powerful metaphor, it's pretty much the key to unlocking his entire personality.
And what's really fascinating here is how that jewel metaphor breaks down. So on the outside, what he shows the world is calm, articulate, and super intellectual. That's the polished exterior. But on the inside, that's where you find this core of incredible strength, analytical, a total perfectionist, and unbelievably meticulous. It's that classic case of a soft appearance hiding a core of absolute steel.
His Saju blueprint also has this powerful engine built right in. He's got strong wood energy, which fuels this constant, relentless need to grow and learn. Then there's this developed earth energy, and that gives him the foundation for deep, philosophical thinking. But, and this is so important, there's also a kind of cosmic imbalance that creates an inherent thirst, a constant, deep-seated feeling of needing more.
And this is where it all clicks into place. This is how he manages that inner thirst. He instinctively turns to art and knowledge to quench it. So his passion for making music, his famous love of reading, all those trips to museums, these aren't just hobbies, you see. They are a deep, almost subconscious way of bringing his own nature into balance. He's turned a potential vulnerability into his absolute greatest strength.
And this self-awareness, it is not new. When his parents weren't sure about his music career, he actually asked them this question. It just perfectly shows how that inner drive and that crystal-clear understanding of his own potential were there from a really young age. It connects his Saju blueprint directly to the biggest choices of his life.
All right, so we've got this picture of a polished, meticulous jewel. Now, for our second clue, let's look at how that jewel operates as the leader of, well, one of the biggest groups in the world.
His leadership style is this really fascinating paradox. His Saju is that of a king or a son, which means he's born with this powerful, innate sense of responsibility to take care of and shine a light on other people. But he doesn't rule with an iron fist, right? Instead, he's got this servant and mediator style where he focuses on respecting each member's individuality and harmonizing all their different talents.
But being the son for everyone else, well, that doesn't come without a price. That kind of leadership, especially when you combine it with his natural perfectionism, can create a pretty significant internal burden, and that can lead to feelings of loneliness and really high levels of stress.
Okay, now for our third and final clue. This one takes us into a realm of Korean culture that feels almost mythical, the Taemong, or the conception dream, that supposedly foretold his destiny before he was even born.
So what is a Taemong? It's basically a prophetic dream that a close family member has right around the time of conception. It's believed to give this symbolic peek into the child's entire life path, their talents, their fortune, the whole shebang.
RM's Taemong was actually dreamt by his grandmother. So in her dream, she finds herself standing in this really vibrant field, and she's just surrounded by chili peppers.
And then, in that field, a snake suddenly appears. It moves right towards her and bites her firmly on the ankle, and it holds on tight.
Now, I know that might sound kind of strange, but in Taemong interpretation, that is an incredibly powerful and positive dream. So let's break down the symbols. The chili peppers? They represent tons of talent and immense wealth. The snake symbolizes wisdom and actual, tangible, real-world success. And the snake biting the ankle and not letting go? Get this, that points to a global stage for his career and a loyal, unshakable fan base that's going to follow him his entire life.
So with all these clues, his Saju blueprint, his leadership style, and that prophetic dream all laid out on the table, we can start to look at what the analysis suggests about the road ahead for RM.
The period from 2024 all the way to 2033 is forecasted to be this powerful new leap,
a time of really intense focus, where his work is going to get even more philosophical. And within that decade, 2025 is marked as a peak year, especially for overseas activities and financial success. But 2026 is flagged as a year that's going to require some special caution.
Yeah, the analysis points to 2026 as a year with a really high potential for psychological stress, maybe some friction in his relationships. The advice is to be particularly careful then and to navigate this challenging period by leaning on the very things that already balance his nature: meditation, deep engagement with art, and study.
So, after looking at his Saju, his leadership, his Taemong, what is the final piece of the puzzle? What is the secret code to RM's success?
Well, the ultimate reveal is this. His success isn't just about having a good Saju or a lucky dream. It wasn't some passive fate written in the stars that he just had to sit around and wait for.
The real secret, it seems, is the incredible alignment between his innate nature and his conscious actions. Whether he does it instinctively or on purpose, he seems to understand his own blueprint and has built a life that perfectly fulfills it. He's turned that inner thirst into the literal fuel for his art, his intellect, and his leadership.
And that really brings us to the most important takeaway from all of this. These tools, they're not about predicting some unchangeable destiny. They're about providing a map of your own nature. The journey you actually take with that map, that's entirely up to you.
RM's story is just this powerful testament to what can happen when you deeply understand who you are and then build a life that honors it. Which kind of leaves us with one final thought. What could you achieve if you had the map to your own innate potential?